Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to Alleged Actually podcast. Today is Monday, so you guys know what that means, honey. It is Bravo Monday. And let me just tell you, it has been so much going on in those Bravo streets. Y'all, I could not wait to hop on here. We've got a lot to talk about. I am going to recap last Thursday's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County called The Elephant in the Room. Listen, it's been elephants all weekend, okay? So before I get into the recap, and I'm going to get there to it, we got to talk about this tea that's been going on, y'all. First of all, before we get into the Orange County tea, I did want to talk about actually a sad little story that came out over the weekend. Prayers goes out to Kim Richards of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You know, Kyle is a castmate. Kim formerly was a castmate. It came to our attention that she was placed under a psychiatric hold. She has relapsed. We know that she's had issues in the past with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, and sadly, she has relapsed and had gotten to a dispute with Kyle. Kyle had been allowing her to reside in one of her residences. And once she found out that Kim had, in fact, fallen back off the wagon, she did contact authorities and Kim was placed under a psychiatric hold. Thoughts and prayers out to Kim Richards, out to Kyle. I mean, Kyle and her are very close. We did see her actually appear in last season with Kyle, showing support, trying to be the mediator between her and her sister, their sister Kathy Richards, and Kathy Hilton. Let me just say that. Pardon me, she's definitely Kathy Hilton. But at any rate, she is hopefully getting the help that she needs. And so thoughts and prayers out to Kim Richards. Okay, y'all. Now for the tea. Good old Tamra Judge has done it again. That mouth has finally possibly cashed her a check she cannot cash. Yeah. So Ryan, we're going to call him Ryan B, honey. You know, guys, Jen's Ryan has sued Tamra, has filed a lawsuit against her for defamation. Y'all, and it's going to go down in this episode that we're going to talk about. We'll get there when we get to Katie's dinner party. But it was really in response to the episode and her appearance on Watch What Happens Live. Listen, she had made some accusations about Ryan being raided by the FBI and what have you. And then they talked about what things that were exchanged because Tamara and Eddie got into it. And Andy just wanted to clear up. One of the things that he said was that Eddie was soft. Y'all, it was tearing Tamara out the frame, the things that Ryan was saying about Eddie. I have my theories on Tamara's real issue with Ryan and Jen, but she just took it too far. She did issue an apology, but what she basically said on Watch What Happens Live is she said, you know what, Ryan, we sell more in a month than what you stole from that Dodgers player. So she alleged that Ryan had stole money from a Dodgers player. And she was trying to, I guess, get her moment in on Watch What Happens Live because she was clearly angry on the things that Ryan had said on a podcast that she claimed. And then really her exchange on the episode, The Elephant in the Room, where Ryan held his own against her with all of her screaming accusations. Producers did a good job in showing that it didn't go down just like she said it did. So Tamara issued an apology on her Instagram. I'm going to show that. And she said, as mentioned on my IG story yesterday, I would like to apologize for and correct the record on a misstatement I made on WWHL or Watch What Happens Live that aired on Thursday about Ryan Boyajin. I have no reason to believe that Ryan has stolen any money. I misspoke in tying Ryan to the actions of others. I meant to say my company makes more money than what was stolen from the Dodger player. Unfortunately, I misspoke on live television. While Ryan and I have had ongoing issues, I do apologize to him for the mistake and wish to make clear that my statement was made in error. I sincerely apologize, Tamra Judge. Might be too little too late, man. I mean, Ryan's not playing with you. And so you cannot just spout off and say what you want to. It's not the first time we've caught Tamra in a lie, when she's angry, when she's pushed in a corner. So you know what? If Jim Bellino didn't teach you anything, looks like Ryan may have to. So we had others that entered the chat with her apology and her antics. So Jen also made her statement. And basically, let me just read what Jen said. I'm going to share it with you guys. You've got it on the screen. And I am going to read it to you guys, or read it with you guys. She basically said, I'm sorry, guys. Let me make this big so that I can actually see it. This is the most fake attempt of a retraction of her words. I feel so bad for Eddie. Let's not forget, she also said on national TV, Ryan's home was raided by the FBI 6 months ago, and Jen is covering for him. Girl, you should have listened to Eddie when he tried to shut you up 5 times that night. Our home was never raided. I'm covering for nobody. Your mouth and alcohol are your biggest problems. And you attacked Shannon. What a joke. Child, she ain't never lied. And last but not least, honey, Vicky Gumpelson, the OG of OC, has entered the chat as well. And here's what she had to say. Guess she didn't learn before with being sued from Jim. She has no storyline unless she's attacking someone. Peeing on your backyard cement was it for me and everyone else. It's gross, classless, and rude. Now, hopefully she learns her lesson on defaming people. Child, listen. We done hopped off of Shannon the door and hopped right on you, Tamra. And that's why you have to be careful. Because when you are coming for somebody else, you better make sure your own stuff is in order, ma'am, because this is what happens. Karma truly is that girl. She's coming for you. So, y'all, I just wanted to get that out there. We are going to get into the recap. But, child, it has been a very busy weekend. This weekend in the Bravo streets with Miss Tamra and Ryan. And we are going to keep you guys abreast of how this all plays out, child. Now, before we get into the recap, I just have something really quick. If you haven't yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up and like this video, like this live. Also, I want to hear from you. So please, y'all, put in the comments, what did you think about the episode? What do you think about that tea, Tamra and Ryan? Man, do you think that Ryan's right? I sure do. Do you think Tamra's getting what she deserves? I mean, put it in the comments and then share with me what you thought about the episode. Also, if you're not an actualizer yet, y'all better go ahead and join the fam. We have a lot of fun over here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and become one of our actualizers because we drop that good content. Okay, guys, let's get into it. So the episode opens with Emily, Gina, and Tamra talking about the disagreement, the argument, the fight, if you will, between Heather and Emily, when Emily was simply just expressing her feelings about the fashion show. Tamra goes ahead and apologizes to her because she said she thought it was something different. There you go. She hops in, not realizing what it was. And Emily talks about Alexis and her stupid interjection, y'all. That was the dumbest. Her hopping in the disagreement when Emily was simply just trying to tell Heather how she felt about the fashion show. All Alexis heard was, Alexis was wearing the same dress as me. And then, y'all, she just wouldn't shut up. So Emily says, she really felt like she could have had a chance to get out what she wanted to say if Alexis had just, gone away. But at any rate, they all said they felt bad for Shannon. And, well, they mentioned that one of the things about Alexis that night was she was kind of off. And they go do a flashback about how she says, she felt bad for Shannon. She was kind of weepy and said, it's all going to come out. And we come to find out a little bit later in the episode just what she was talking about. So Tamra said that they're definitely retaliating. I'm just going to take a little sip of water, y'all. My voice is just a little bit gone today. I don't know what the deal is. Probably my excitement over Tamra finally getting what she deserves. I don't know. At any rate, y'all. So Gina says, whatever it is that's coming out, it's not going to go smoothly. So this is in anticipation of what is to come, because Alexis was acting really crazy at Jen's party, at her pool party. She was overly off and emotional. And they do like a little flashback where she's saying that she feels bad for Shannon and it's all going to come out. And she can't really talk about it, but it does lead us to believe that something big is about to go down. And we find out in this episode just what that is. So then the next scene is Terry and Heather. And guys, this has also been in these Bravo streets. And I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about it. But they're sitting in the doctor's office as we come to find out Terry's going to have a procedure. He snores a lot. And so he's going to have his septum fixed as well as the tip of his nose. But before he can get that procedure done, he has to have his heart checked out, because we do know that he had last year a stroke that caused him to have an issue with his heart. And so before he has any type of anesthesia, he's got to make sure that his heart is okay, that it's healed properly. And so they're in the waiting room and they're talking, and Heather lets them know she's tired. And she lets Terry know that what happened at Jen's pool party, the whole issue with Emily. And she said, I just don't really understand what it is with Emily and Gina. It's like, she said, they take 2 steps forward and then 4 steps backwards. And Heather says, she's still kind of in the place where she really wants to get it straight with Gina about the whole Katie issue. But it's like it's just so much different information coming at her. And they do the flashback, of course, where Tamra's telling her that Gina only keeps her clothes for her real estate connections. We have come to know that Tamra does lie. At any rate, Terry says that whenever someone kind of wrong Heather, or Heather feels that she's been wrong, that she has a process and she has to hash it out. Not once, and they do a flashback of the first time she confronts Gina. Not twice. Production is shady, y'all. They flash back to the second time she talks to Gina about the incident. He says, but 3 times, and then there's the third time that they're going at it about said issue with Katie and paparazzi gate. And then he adds, and you do so ad nauseum. And Heather says it's not true. We don't have to hash things out like that. And Heather says, at this point, you're just being mean. Terry says, so should I just stop talking? And she says, yes. And he says, okay, it's done. And at this point, Heather's talking to who I believe to be production and says, it's okay, let's go. And she's like, okay, whoever the producer is in the background, who I believe that they're talking to, they're breaking fourth wall again, y'all, because they are not happy with each other. And they say, well, look, they've already got your blood, so yeah, we can go. And then we have a hot mic moment, y'all. You hear Heather telling Terry that, well, before they have the hot mic moment, they walk off and she's like, I'm done with you. Then we get the hot mic moment when she says to him, do not admonish me on camera like that. I don't like it. And he says, well, don't talk over me then. Let me talk. And she was like, well, obviously it wasn't on purpose, and don't admonish me. Okay. So, the question is that's been going around on all of our group chats and our fan pages is, do you think that Terry was wrong? I mean, I don't. Heather does talk over people, and she admittedly does so. She admitted that she did it to Katie. They have been married a long time. That's just husband and wife stuff. I mean, Terry was clearly annoyed with her, but yeah. And Heather, she likes to put out that picture perfect picture. And so with him kind of getting at her like that, Heather didn't like it. So you guys let me know what you think in the chat. What did you think? Did you think Terry was wrong for that? Or did you think that, like me, I think he was speaking his mind as he should, and I think that's married couple stuff. And I think Heather needs to hear it. She does tend to go on a little bit, and she definitely overtalks folks. So there's that. And look, I'm a Heather fan. So for all you Heather lovers, I am not bashing Heather. I am merely saying she is not above reproach. Her husband let her know she overtalks people. And in this instance, he's kind of over the whole thing. And he's kind of letting her know that when someone comes for her, she sometimes drags it out and wants to talk it to death. And so I don't know. Maybe she'll receive it and be a little bit more mindful. I doubt it. But at any rate, so at the next scene, Terry is in the back when they're getting ready to check his heart. And he asks her to help him with his gown. So it seems like they got over it fast. At least they did for the camera, at any rate. And so Terry, they let us in on the fact that when Terry did have the stroke, it caused him to have a hole in his heart. And though it was repaired, they are going to, of course, make sure that all is well so that he can proceed with his procedure. And Heather's nervous, because she does admit that though Heather is one of the most composed ladies I know, that the fear of losing Terry, when she allowed herself to feel those feelings, she really broke down. And so, reality is that's her husband, that's her love. Of course, she's nervous, and she lets us in on that. So at that point, and she also lets us know that she was hoping for a George Clooney nose. And we'll find out if that's the case a little bit later in the episode. You let me know in the comments what you thought about that. So then we go over to Jen and Ryan. They are out doing some shopping. She lets us know, honey, that everything that Ryan gets, he gets tailored. That is everything to include underwear, y'all. That's a little crazy. I mean, Ryan is a nice, crisp looking, put together dude. So, I mean, it's not shocking. This scene was, just a cute little quick scene. Not going to hold you with it. Basically, takeaway is Eddie picks out Ryan picks out the same jacket that Eddie does because Eddie and Tamra also shop in the same store. And the attendant that's helping them, the salesperson, says that they can be twinsies. And then she tells Eddie a little bit about the night at the pool party. And she also tells Eddie that Tamra and her are actually in a better place, and that she hopes that him and Eddie can also get to a better place. Tamra, on the other end, we go to another scene where she's telling the girls that Ryan talked a lot of crap about Eddie on a podcast. And Ryan says he really doesn't have a problem with any of them, but that he couldn't hang with Eddie because Eddie's just not a dude. And then Tamra and Eddie are still talking, and Eddie's also not having it. He really wants nothing to do with Ryan. And Tamra calls Ryan a little bee. Y'all, we hear that word so much in this episode. Little bee, baby bees, lots of bees all over the place. And you know what word I'm referring to, honey. You can't cuss on YouTube for the first 30 minutes. It's not my style per se anyway, but you know what I'm saying. So then we go over to the scene where Shannon calls Adeline. It's her and Archie there. Shannon is, an empty nester, and she's there with just her and Archie. And she's missing her girls. And she talks to Adeline, who is in New York. And she asks Adeline about the men out there. Adeline replies, the men in New York are disgusting. That's her opinion. And she says, well, are you accepting any dates? Have you been asked on any dates? And she said, honey, only date I'm accepting is if I get asked to Carbone. My girl. My girl, that's what's up, Adeline. I mean, seriously, not with your time. She's 19, but she's like, I'm not wasting my time on these dudes unless they taking me on these luxurious trips. I'm with it. I hear you, Adeline. So Shannon tells her also, she asked about the show, and Shannon tells her that her and Vicky's show is doing really well, that basically she's laughed for 3 days and she's really needed this. Y'all, I will say that it's really a good thing that she does have the show with Vicky. Um, it apparently is doing very well. She said they had sold out shows, and it's a good distraction from all the crazy things that are happening in her life. She tells her also about the lawsuit and how she'd offered to pay John the full amount, with the exception that he would agree to sign a non-disparagement clause. He would not, of course, be no sign it. And Adeline says that's because he's gross. So she doesn't think a lot of Mr. Johnny J. And of course not at this point, the way he's done her mom. And Shannon says, it's like, look, I've hit rock bottom. And it's just like, I don't know how much more John wants of me. And it is a shame, y'all. John, Alexis, they're just really dragging Shannon. And, we come to find out that People Magazine has gotten a hold of the story. And Tamra, of course, is the first one in scene to talk about it. People Magazine print out about the lawsuit in an article. And Tamra is sitting there and saying, oh my gosh, she's seeing it on her phone. And she's like, oh my gosh, y'all, it's out there now. The fact that it's with People Magazine, which is, of course, a very reputable magazine, that it's out there for public consumption. And she says that now she understands why Alexis was acting so crazy at Jen's pool party, because she knew that it was about to drop. So Tamra, in her fake friend way, her phoniness, tries to contact Shannon to see if she's okay. Shannon does not answer. However, unfortunately for Shannon, she ends up butt dialing her. And Tamra, being the great friend that she is, instead of hanging the phone up, decides to keep it on speakerphone so that we can all hear it for the cameras. And in the butt dial, Shannon, of course, is notably upset, crying, and she says that she knows that Alexis is paying for this publicist that is leaking this story, that sent the story out. And we're not sure who she's talking to, but the person that she's talking to that we're listening to during the butt dial says, in response that, yeah, I'm sure she is. And Shannon says that her emotional level now is at a major panicking mode. She's overwhelmed and she's just tired, y'all. And it sounded really sad. And a lot of people made the comment, and I saw it myself, the smirk on Tamra's face. Y'all, with friends like that, my God, do you need enemies? This woman is evil. Look, I have never, and I repeat, never been a Tamra fan. But I'm going to have to say, I thought last season she was pretty low. I mean, I've seen her do some low stuff. So let's just say I'm not going to say this is new behavior for Tamra. But because I thought that her and Shannon were close, I am really disgusted this season, even more so. And she's come for Vicky too. And we all know that Vicky and her were supposed to be real close. I think the difference is that Vicky really holds her own and Shannon seems to just be really, really knocked down and just doesn't play as dirty as Tamra. So it just lands different with Shannon. And so there's that. So after the butt dial call hangs up, Tamra calls Heather and asks if she saw the news. Heather hasn't. And so she lets Heather in on the fact that People has the article out and that she heard Shannon in a butt dial talk about how devastated she was. And Tamra says that she doesn't think that Alexis had anything to do with the article because once you file a lawsuit, it becomes public knowledge. Of course, she doesn't think Alexis had anything to do with it. She's Team Alexis this season because Alexis is in assistance on taking Shannon down. Y'all, Tamra is mean and nasty, and it's not taking any shorts in making sure we know she's Team Alexis. So, on the other hand, Tamra says that John said that he didn't want to be in the spotlight and that this is very counterintuitive of that. And she just doesn't understand what him and Alexis are trying to accomplish. It just, if you're happy again, go be happy and run off in the sunset. Dragging her this way and, just constantly kicking her when she's down. It's just not a good look. Then we get another look over back with Terry and his nose. So then, y'all, we find out that Katie is going to have a couple's dinner party at her home. Like I said before, I like Katie for the show, y'all, and getting a chance to see Matt, liking Matt too. She's a great addition to the show. I stand by it. And even though a lot of people don't like the way she came in a little hot for Heather, I think she's a keeper, y'all. She breaks out the Dom that Heather gave her at her golf event and says, should we serve this? And of course, he's like, yeah, of course we should serve it. Well, maybe we'll serve it with dessert or whatever. And so she's giving Matt the rundown on the couples that are going to be attending. She did not invite Shannon because it actually is a couples dinner and Shannon's alone. Gina has something to do, so Gina will not be in attendance. And she doesn't mention why, but Alexis is not invited either, which we are so, so glad that we are spared of her on this episode. So for the dinner, the first one to arrive would be Emily and Shane. And Shane asked if Heather's going to be, I'm sorry. We're not there yet. Before we get that, we go back over to Emily and Shane as they're getting ready to get ready for the dinner party. And Shane asked if Heather is coming to the couple's dinner. And Emily says no, because she still refuses to talk to Katie. So there will also be no Heather and Terry Dubrow at this couple's dinner, which we didn't think so anyway. Heather's not there yet, y'all. And so they asked their son, he's in the room, and what they should bring to the dinner party. And he says pot, y'all. You got to love Emily and those kids, okay? It was a cute little lighthearted moment, but one wonders why this child knows about pot and suggested they would bring that to a dinner as a gift. Weigh in the comments what y'all think, y'all. At any rate, we go back over and see Terry and his nose. He survived, y'all. He came out of it fine. And Heather says now she can get her beauty sleep, her cognitive sleep, all her sleeps, honey. No more snoring. Good on her. Now, if I could just get my husband to get the same surgery, we'd be good. Because I fully understand her pain. That snoring is no joke. But alas, Heather no longer has to suffer that fate. Terry now has a new nose, though it is not giving us George Clooney from what we can see. But he's had a successful nose job and he came out okay. All right, then we go over to the scene with Gina and her children. She's making meatballs, y'all. Y'all, that New York accent comes out every chance it gets. And her son left his lacrosse equipment, but she says, no worries because your dad is going to drop it by. Which he, in fact, does. Matt comes by with his fiancée, Britt, and they come in. One thing's clear that Gina has a really good relationship. We found out that her and Matt are now getting along, but we also see that she gets along really good with Britt, his fiancée, and they talk about the wedding. And she says that, she thinks it's great that they're getting married. She's very happy for them as they're moving on. She thinks it's good for her kids because it's good for them to see their parent in a happy, healthy relationship. Everybody gets along. But she would be lying if she didn't say that it does make her feel some kind of way because while her ex Matt and Britt are moving towards marriage, it seems like her and Travis have taken a step back. They even do a flashback, guys, of where the kids had given them a little impromptu kind of fake wedding in their backyard. And she talks about the fact that his ex is just in a space where they cannot effectively co-parent. And so legal issue has been involved, and the stress of dealing with his ex had put a damper on Travis in the way that he interacted with her and the kids. And it was just something that she decided that she was going to take a break from. I have my theories on that, y'all. I feel like, and I've said this on previous recaps, but I feel like Travis really stood by Gina when she was going through her stuff with Matt. I mean, let's not forget that they even had a domestic DV case where they had their issues with an incident between her and Matt. So it wasn't always roses and sunshine between them either. Travis was there for her in some pretty dark times. Listen, I'm sure it's not, particularly as long as they've been together and things haven't gotten better. But I just feel like she's kind of found her way. It's okay to be selfish when you're trying to take care of your children because financially he's not there and she's got her real estate job and now she's able to do some of the things she wasn't able to do that she can't do for everybody, but that she can do for her and her kids. I'm all about putting your children first. I just think that she could have been a little more supportive and hung in there with Travis a little longer. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Weigh in the comments and let me know. So we go back over to Katie and she's still preparing for the couple's dinner and she's going to do so Southern style, honey. She said her mom makes sure that she knows how to properly prepare for a dinner party. So she lets us know she's got classes check, table runner check, plates check, cook dinner, not so much. She decides to order the dinner instead. Listen, I'm Southern Katie. Dinner parties are not what they used to be back in my grandma's day, honey. We order food and it's A-okay. I'm not mad at you. So she's still filling Matt in about what's going to be happening at this dinner party. And she does let him know about Eddie and Ryan's issues. She let him know that Ryan bashed him on a podcast. And so Eddie is definitely not a fan. So he was like, oh, now you tell me. But she's setting the stage so that Matt's not blindsided. Now, the first to arrive at the dinner party is Emily and Shane. Then comes Tamra and Eddie. And a lot of people are talking about how, Tamra and Eddie come up first. They're walking in. They're kind of like, Tamra's walking ahead of Eddie. But before they go in and sing for the camera, now all of a sudden they're holding hands to paint the picture of solidarity, which a lot of people disagree with. A lot of people don't think that they're quite as happy as they try to portray themselves to be. I happen to be one of those people. But at any rate, they come in, and then last to arrive are Jen and Ryan. And Matt asked Tamra what she wants to drink, and she says she'll do a dirty because he had made Emily a dirty martini. And she even says, I'll do you dirty. Tamra never misses an opportunity to be trashy. Trashy. I didn't mention it in the last recap, but God knows, was it not trashy, y'all, when she peed on Jen's and Ryan's concrete out there by the pool? Look, there's such a thing as lighthearted moments fun, but I think that her, and I think Emily, goes a little lowbrow. I don't understand why. Look, the majority of us that watch this show, we are grown as can be. That don't move me. I don't even think it's funny. I think it's filthy. And let me just say, honey, if I have you over at my house, over at my pool, you squatting and peeing, you're out of there. I don't think it's cute. At any rate, Matt makes her a dirty martini. And then he greets Ryan and Jen and asks what they would like to drink. And they see that he has some Malibu. And so Jen has asked for a Diet Coke and Malibu. So everybody has their drink orders out. And as they come in and talk to the other couples, Ryan and Jen greet everyone. Ryan tries to greet Eddie and asks, says hi. Eddie's all stiff. He asks, can he get a hug? And Eddie's like, nope. And he says again, so how's it going? And Eddie just walks up and he's like, oh, so what are you doing? Trying to hide? And he's like, nope, I just don't have anything to say to you. So everybody's kind of on eggshells because they're already seeing off top that the first interaction at the dinner party is not going well between Ryan and Eddie. So Emily's all excited because she's got these two buff dudes that about to go at it. She's like, they're both big. I'm here for all of it. And Katie's just worried that a fight will ensue around her $80 wine glasses, honey. And I don't blame her. She's like, please spare my wine glasses. So Matt gives Eddie his drink, which apparently is water or something non-alcoholic, because Shane asked, or it's like, so you don't drink? And he was like, not unless he has to, if there's like an environment of, a lot of BS or whatever, that he needs a drink. Kind of like this one. So at this point, Tamra is powdering Emily's face ever so gently, helping her with her makeup. And she asked her, did she catch that Eddie walked off, how Eddie interacted with Ryan? And she said, yeah. And she's like, I believe Shane would do the same if someone had trashed me on a podcast. I don't know if he would, Emily. I'm not sure about that. Though I will give you that Shane and you have come a long way this season. Because I used to think Shane was the biggest jerk ever. He has been a lot more supportive of Emily this season. Y'all weigh in, because I didn't used to be a fan of Shane. But I am liking him this season. He does seem a lot more supportive. Him and Emily seem to be on the same team now. A lot less jerky. So, okay, I'm here for that. Tamra said that he had crossed the line like a little effing bee. There's that word again. All these little bees. And Emily said, don't say little bee around Shane. Flashback, y'all, to that party where Kelly Dodd called Shane a little bee. Because Shane used to assert himself in women's business a lot. And Shane used to get in with the women. And so Kelly was letting him, she was setting him straight. And she called him a little bee twice. And well, Tamra says, well, this time we know who the little bee is. So now Jen says to Ryan, so Eddie wouldn't even say hi to you? And Ryan's like, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't give me a hug either. Calls him a clown and a baby bee. There goes the B word. Y'all, I need to name this recap the Clash of the Bees. I don't know. Y'all weigh in and let me know, honey. There was a lot of bee calling out in those streets. So Eddie asked Katie if there's any name tags on the table, and Katie says, nah, you can sit anywhere. And Emily chimes in, yeah, you're going to be seated by Ryan, your bestie. Yeah, Emily. Okay. I also wanted to mention, y'all, did you notice, like, when Tamra walked in and Emily complimented her outfit and said she kind of looked like she was dressed like she was in the mob, and she goes to grab her sunglasses to put them on and says, oh, I've got a tampon in there. I don't understand why Emily feels like she has to lowbrow it so much either for comic relief. It doesn't require that. It just doesn't. It's, she's giving trashy right there with her bestie Jen. Or I'm sorry, not Jen. Lord forgive me. Jen is anything but trashy. Jen is very classy. Tamra. She's giving Tamra Jr. with her little lowbrow moments. It's not cute, Emily. Knock it off. So at this point, Matt and Ryan go outside to have a little talk. And Matt asks Ryan what he does. Y'all, producers were so shady in this moment because you got Ryan saying he's a real estate developer. He's been in the mortgage industry for 15 years. He does all projects in California, some out of the state. He works from home ever since COVID. COVID took a toll on things. But right now he's working on the 7 home development, and it's all going great. Okay. Matt looks confused. But he's like, okay. So we are back in the kitchen where Katie's doing her final touches. Emily is assisting her, and Emily yells over to Tamra to please have the bartender grab her another drink. And could she grab it for her and bring it to her? Tamra asks, does she want champagne, while she's holding her dirty martini and it's spilling all over Katie's good floor. Child, sloppy much? While you're so busy and worried about Shannon ordering her Belvederes and sodas, you need to watch your own drinking, ma'am. You're looking a little sloppy there. Spilling all over Katie's nice floors. Trash. So anyway, they yell. Emily and Eddie yell, hey, you're spilling. And she's like, oh, well, I'm trying to get your glass, champagne, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't seem concerned at all that she spilled this drink all over their good floor. I don't know if y'all caught this, but Eddie is looking very concerned. Camera pans to him and he is giving her the, oh no, ma'am, look. So Jen says last time Tamra got super drunk like that, she had a napkin in her face. They flash back to the scene, which was last season. When they're out to eat, Tamra's drinking. She literally throws the napkin. It smacks Jen in the face and says, watch it. I need to watch it. Gets up and kind of comes towards Jen. And so she says she hopes everybody holds on to their napkins. Eddie tells Matt that he probably shouldn't serve Tamra any more alcohol. Again, how was that, Tamra? While you're on your soapbox, worrying about Shannon and her drinking, your own husband got you cut off on camera. Because you were drinking too much. Because you too, ma'am, drink too much. They even asked her, y'all, on Watch What Happened Live about that. And she's like, oh, no. Because Andy asked, did it bother you that Eddie, said on camera to have you cut off from your drinking? And she's like, no, not at all. I mean, Eddie knows I'm a lightweight. I can have 2 after that, it goes downhill. But I can have 2 drinks. Sound familiar? At any rate, at the table, Jean I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a moment. Jen leans in to Katie to tell her what a good guy Matt is. And y'all, I'm going to have to agree. Matt seems like a really nice guy. Poor thing is in the middle of all this craziness, but he does. He seems solid, like a really good guy. And Katie says he's definitely a good guy. He's like an angel. Tamra asks how long they've been married, and they have been married 7.5 years, y'all. And she asks, does he have any kids? And he's like, oh, yeah, abandoned, talking about the child that he shares with Katie. And of course, Tamra's like, no, did you have any kids before? And he's like, no. And Katie says, yeah, he's like a unicorn. When I met him, he'd never been married, never had kids. And he said, and Tamra, being the trash that she is, says, oh, so are you a player? And he said, no, I was just looking for one woman. And Tamra's like, really? And you found the woman. Okay, now, y'all, at this point, Katie is still better than me because I would be like, girl, what are you referring to? Clearly, he found the woman. You see me right here. You see I got the ring. What you mean? And Emily throws in that, oh, no, he's still looking. And Katie, trying to be a good sport, says, yeah, he's still combing the streets of Newport Beach. But y'all, what did y'all think? And weigh in on the comments. Was that not trashy again? You gonna keep going at the man? Clearly he's uncomfortable, insinuating that he's a player, that, he must have been like a playboy. But no, there are some good ones out there. They just don't want you. How about that? Okay. Tamra then, in true trash form, proceeds to tell Matt that she's seen Katie's butthole. Yeah, right there at the dinner table. She lets him know that, they had been playing a game of truth and dare over at Jen's pool party. Katie chimes in that she was wearing underwear, and she's like, yeah, but we still saw your butthole. Someone at the table says that's classy, y'all. I don't know who it was. To me, it sounded like Ryan. She didn't jump on him if it was. It was either Ryan or Shane, but some guy said, yeah, that's classy. You're right. That was real classy, Tamra. Very on brand for you. So Tamra brings up Alexis the night at Jen's party and how she was acting crazy. And Emily hops in and says, Alexis didn't help that night. Y'all, I love you, Emily, but don't. Another opportunity for her to talk about the dilemma with her and the fashion show. Child, we get it. We do. We get it. I'm with you, sister. Again, I told you. I don't see why it's like the scarlet letter to put on a size 12 dress, but I understand that you feel insecure about your weight. But she lets them know that she was just trying to have a conversation with Heather, that if Alexis had not been there with all of her shenanigans, she really feels like she could have done that. She's like, she was trying to talk to her as a friend from her heart. And she goes on to explain to the group. And she actually turns to Ryan and says, I'm at the gym every day. Am I not? And he says, in true form, yes, every morning. And she says, okay, so there's 2 dresses. And She gives me the one that's a size 12. And don't y'all see how that would hurt my psyche a little bit? And they all agree, yes. But y'all, Emily, I'm with you, but girl, I mean, I just don't feel like, and Tamra asked, do you think she put the size 12 in, to be malicious? And Emily's like, no, I don't. I just wanted her to see me. That's it, and she said that when she was heavier, she used to be called everything, every name in the book. I mean, it's a sore spot for her, and we get it. But I just think, I don't know. Tamra in confessional says that she knows that Emily's insecure about her weight. And they do the flashback back at when Eddie and Tamra had their gym, Cut Fitness, where they were trying to help Emily. So with that, as personal trainers, they always have to get your weight. She said at the time that was the most she'd weighed. And then, her BMI score was a 30, which is obese. And she says that, she has worked hard and that she thinks that Emily looks great and amazing. But when you are working that hard and you see all these size zeros around you in Orange County, she knows it's hard and she feels bad for her. And look, I get it. I really do. I mean, again, I told y'all a size 12 dress is comfortably what I wear and I think I'll rock it well. However, my peer group, though they range in size, I'm not surrounded by a bunch of size 0 women. Probably if I was, I may feel insecure or certainly a lot larger because that's a major difference in size. So I get it. And Jen said, it would have been awesome if everyone would have let them have that conversation. And I agree. I think that Heather would have probably received it better if it hadn't gotten so out of hand and so boisterous. And I think Emily was charged up more so with Alexis interjecting her foolishness. So we get it, Emily. And we see you, girl. And you look good. So let's get off it. The fashion show is done. You rocked the size 12. You rocked your outfits. Let's let it go. Y'all weigh in. What do you think? Do you think Emily's making a little bit too much of this whole fashion show thing? Or do you feel her? Let me know in the comments. All right. Well, at this point, Tamra's going to bring it up. We knew it was coming. The People magazine article on Shannon. She tells him about that and the butt dial. And she also tells everyone how Shannon is blaming Alexis. And Katie's like, well, I could see why she'd feel that way because, last time she was sued by Jim Bellino, there was Alexis. Now she's being sued again. There's Alexis right there in the mix. And she's like, oh, no. Alexis had nothing to do with it. That doesn't mean the two have nothing to do with each other. But, girl, really? It kind of does. And I certainly see why she feels that way. And Shannon in confessional says that she believes that Alexis PR is definitely behind the article 100%. And she said it was a similar situation when her and Tamra were sued by Jim, that there was a leak of a story. PR was behind getting that out. And she was like, it's just too similar. So let's be real. So Tamra asked the group, if you owed someone $70,000, wouldn't you just pay it and avoid going through a whole big lawsuit? Ryan wants to know more context. And she was like, well, look, if you owed someone this amount of money, wouldn't you just want to pay and have it done instead of hashing out all the sordid details that come behind it? And everybody's like, yeah. But Emily reminds everyone that she did offer to pay him the full amount. However, there was that non-disparagement clause that he decided not to sign. And that was the issue. And she also says, because we do know, y'all, that Emily is an attorney. Doesn't seem like she's practicing. But Shane is an attorney as well. And at one point, Emily was practicing. And she says, if she had been representing John, then she would have told him to take the money, to sign the non-disparaging clause, and to ride off in the sunset and go be happy. I agree. This is silly. It's just, well, we all know that it's certainly not just about the money. For whatever the reason, he just wants to drag Shannon. Y'all weigh in and tell me what you think. My thoughts is it's an opportunity to stay relevant. I think that, her saying that he was a bad guy, that she paid for things, to me, y'all, that is not the end of the world. When people break up, they don't usually have beautiful, loving stories about the person that broke their heart. I mean, am I missing something here? Y'all weigh in and let me know what you think. So then we go over to Shannon, and she's getting ready to go to bed. Y'all, and this was a sad scene. She said that, she's just sick to her stomach about the whole thing, the fact that they're having to go through this lawsuit. And, it just doesn't help that she's going through it pretty much alone. Her girls are out of the house. She doesn't have a partner, but she lets us know she's alone by choice. But, she's got her Archie. Now, y'all, another thing I noticed, a lot of you guys in the fan chat groups and fan pages were upset at Archie's weight. Okay, now I have a dog. I'm an animal lover. Archie is a little chunky. And it's probably not great for his health. So we're going to jump off the subject a little bit, but you got to realize Shannon is not in a great place. I'm sure at one point she probably walked him more and was more active with him. I don't know. She did offer him a carrot, so it's not like she gave him a really fattening treat. Child, I don't know, but Archie is looking a little thick. So for all you dog lovers out there that are mad at Shannon, give her a break. She's depressed. You're not your best self when you're depressed. So, but back at the party, they asked what else Tamra heard on the butt dial. Did she have any receipts? Did she record it? Because God knows, y'all, that's on brand. I mean, like, how furthermore can she kick Shannon? I guess they all just want to know at the dinner table since it's already open and out there for discussion. Well, Tamra's done with that, and she decides to finally address the elephant in the room. And somebody says, and it's a big one. 2 big elephants, right? And Emily's like, so you're talking about Ryan and Eddie? Well, yeah, Emily, that's what she's talking about. And Tamra said, wow, we noticed Eddie looking up toward the sky. Y'all, did y'all see how the man just literally was staring up in space while she talked and carried on? A lot of people said this, and I noticed it too. Eddie doesn't look well, y'all. I mean, we know that Eddie has a heart condition, but he legit looks sick. He looks sick. He looks checked out. He looks miserable. He looked like he would rather have been anywhere else. But yeah, while she started talking, you see Eddie just kind of looking up like, I wish I could disappear. But Tamra went on, she was letting everybody know about when Ryan went on the podcast and was talking a lot of stuff about her as a mom and Eddie as a businessman. And she asked Ryan why he did that. And Ryan said that at that point, he felt validated to do so with all the stuff that they had talked about on him and the way they treated him last season. I mean, guys, if you remember, they were saying that Ryan basically was trying to sleep with all the married women, that he wasn't a good guy, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, Tamra especially had been for him. So at that point, he was like, it's not like we were best friends. I mean, so I felt like I could say what I wanted to say because y'all sure said what you wanted to. And I agree. And Jen says, hold up. Now, Ryan, you never talked about Eddie as a businessman. And Ryan's like, no, I didn't. And Tamara's like, yes, he did. And she asked, well, what did he say? And she said, well, you said that people at our gym were coming up to you and talking a lot of mess about Eddie. And Jen says, you didn't say that, did you? And he says, no. But then we do hear a soundbite that says there were people coming up to him and talking about Tamra and Eddie, and it was definitely nothing positive. So there's that. I mean, it wasn't like they said, anything horrible about the way he handled his business or whatever, but apparently Ryan said something to the effect that some of the members of the gym didn't have great things to say about Tamra and Eddie both, but he didn't say what they were. So he's like, I did one podcast and I never said anything about what people said. And Ryan said he supported their business. He was, a friend to them. And then they started talking about him. That's true. I mean, he went to their gym. He was a member of Cut Fitness. That's how they knew him. And Tamra was talking a lot of crap about what people said about him at the gym, and Tamra claims that he never talked about Ryan, which is not true. And then he brings up to Eddie that when they were at a barbecue at Ryan's house, he alleged and claimed that a friend of Ryan's came up to Eddie and said, "Hey, you need to watch him. He goes after married women." And Eddie said, "Yep," because that's exactly what happened. And he says, "I know for a fact that did not happen." And Tamra screamed, "It did happen." And so, y'all, it was a lot of back and forth on, yes, they did. No, they didn't. Yes, I said it. No, I didn't say it. You did say it. All of that. And Ryan says, okay, if that happens, let's just say that Joe Blow says to me that, look, you need to watch that guy because he goes for married women, insinuating that you might want to watch him around your wife. If that were the case, I'm going to that person and saying, hey, me and you need to have a sit down and talk. And Eddie's like, well, he's like, and you didn't say nothing to me. And Eddie's like, no, I didn't say nothing to you because I'm not threatened by you. You're not a threat. And I know for a fact that you couldn't have my wife. Y'all, really? Are you sure, Eddie? Because I feel like Tamra's a little jelly of Jen. I'm not so sure that's true. But okay. So Jen asked Tamra, why was she doing this? And she says, because he went after my husband. And Jen said, but you went after him. So in other words, there's so much back and forth. Like, why are we doing this now? We did all this backbiting and mess. We're at a better place. Why are you doing this? Tamra screams, but I told the truth. And she says, he ripped Eddie apart. He ripped her apart as a mom. And apparently he went on All About the TRH podcast. And they go to the audio of the podcast. And he says, none of that. In the interview, basically the interviewer was saying, hey, Tamra, basically doesn't have what they have, because she doesn't have it at home, that she wants the life that they have with the blending of the family and the love because she clearly doesn't have it at home. And he was like, look, I don't live behind their closed doors with them, so I'm not going to speculate. So it does prove that Ryan didn't say anything about them that way. He had an opportunity because the person that was interviewing them was trying to lead him into saying that, Tamra and Eddie aren't really happy and Tamra's doing all this, going after him because she wants what they have. She said also that Ryan went after her son, Ryan. And he said, no, I didn't. He said he just reposted a picture. He reposted a post and said that you should stop talking about me because you have your own Ryan to worry about. And that was concerning, y'all, the penis pic story. And Tamra was like, do I talk about your kids? And he's like, I didn't talk about your kids. I said, worry about your own Ryan. That's it. Y'all, look, we done caught Tamra in lies before. Tamra has a habit of, when she's pushed in a corner, like I said earlier, spewing out things, exaggerating things. And I don't think this is any different. But she says that the pic that he reposted with the post that he reposted was a 20-year-old pic when her son Ryan was 18. He had sent a penis pic to this girl, and the girl sent it to a tabloid. And, Ryan reposted it. Now, I think that was probably not cool. I wouldn't like it if somebody had reposted something of one of my children. But Tamra is so nasty and had come at him so bad. What he was trying to say is, if you really want to be concerned about Orion, you got your own to worry about. I get it. At this point, y'all, they're going back and forth. And Jen is just really looking at Eddie like, seriously? And she's like, we've known each other for so long. And she's been so supportive of both of them. And why is he allowing this? Why is he allowing Tamra to just keep going and going and going at them? I mean, keep in mind, y'all, they're at a dinner party with the other couples. And he says, what am I, her keeper? Yeah, Eddie, you're her husband. I mean, you're literally sitting there and saying nothing. Y'all weigh in the comments and let me know what you thought. I mean, he let her go and just talked crazy, and literally said nothing. She says, no, you're not her keeper, but this is some BS. And Tamra says, well, maybe because my husband is not a little, you guessed it, the B word. And Ryan asked, are you really speaking like this at your age? And she was like, are you age shaming me? No, Tamra, I don't think he's age shaming you, but he's not saying anything that the rest of us are not thinking. Girl, you are in your 50s. You're older than me. I'm 51. I think you got me by a couple. Ma'am, you're at a dinner party. Really? And he's like, no, but who speaks like this at an adult dinner table? And he's right. But they flash back, shady producer moment, to Eddie calling, or to Ryan calling Eddie a clown and a baby bee. At least he wasn't at the table, y'all. So Tamara's like, oh yeah, okay, Ryan, you're so perfect. How's the FBI going for you? Here we go, y'all. And Eddie finally jumps in and says, stop. And Jen's like, FBI? And Tamara says, you don't know anything about the FBI? And Eddie pleads for her to stop. Nope. She goes in confessional and says she's known for 6 months that Ryan was raided by the FBI because of some illegal gambling. And she claims Jen knows all about it. Now, in the beginning, when I showed you guys Jen's response here, when she tweeted on that apology right here, yeah, shout out reality tea and gossip. But yeah, that's when she was clapping back saying, you know, here you go again. Ryan is now suing her for defamation. And that was because of her saying that he had stolen money from a Dodgers player. Jen added in, let's also remember what you said about him having his home raided by the FBI. Never happened. And she didn't cover for anybody. So you see? And so Emily says that she does know that Ryan and this guy, now Emily carefully poses what she says, the guy that was investigated by the FBI, they go to Vegas together a lot. Okay. That was the guy, not Ryan. She says that she had heard that. But she did say, you know, how much smoke can there be before there's actually fire? I don't know. But Emily was careful. You notice that she said the guy got investigated by the FBI. She did not say Ryan. Tamra said Ryan's home was raided by the FBI. That's a very different thing, y'all. She's crazy. And again, y'all, it is time for Bravo to not put her on pause, to fire her. It's too much. Jen tells Eddie that she hates this coming between them because she's had massive respect for him for years. At this point, you know, Eddie's like, just stop talking. And that's when she gets them and says, you know what? I'm done. She goes looking for her bag and she storms out. And Ryan says in his confessional that Tamra takes anyone who's happy and tries to railroad them because she's miserable. And Eddie says, you know, at the end, it doesn't have to be like this. And Ryan says in confessional again that her marriage is a sham. Eddie's soft and he's unemployed. He said that others are doing well and real love is being shown and she can't handle it because it's everything she doesn't have. Y'all, that's a mic drop moment, is it not? I mean, I don't know if you're a fan of Ryan or not. I'm on the fence still, but I'm going to have to hop off the fence and give him his props for that one. He handled Tamra right, and he called it. She's miserable, y'all. She's got to be. The way she's treated Shannon, the way in the past she's treated Vicky, the way she's treated a lot of people on the show. Her antics, her lies. At the last of this show ends, Tamra says that, you know, as she trips out the gate, did y'all catch that, T? Child, them dirty martinis put a hurting on her. As she stumbles her way out of Katie's gate to find herself to the car, she was saying that no one's prepared to see the real Ryan and that he's a piece of ish. Well, Tamra, I think you might have should have left that Ryan alone because you're now facing a lawsuit. Y'all weigh in and let me know what you thought of that episode. I mean, it was so much going on, y'all. It was a good one. That's how the episode ended. Y'all let me know what you thought about that tea, that lawsuit. Shout out to Vicki Gumpelson for entering the chat. What y'all think about the OG of the OC and what she had to say? She's basically saying, good enough for you, Tammy. You just didn't learn. So, guys, weigh in and join me again on next Monday for Bravo Monday again, where we're going to keep going with Orange County. Eventually, y'all, I'm going to add Salt Lake City into the lineup. So be watching for that. We will also be dropping our 90-day Fiance the Other Way recap this week. I will be dropping that on Wednesday with Big Nige, my guest co-host. So join us back on Wednesday for that. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. God bless.